This Saturday at 8 p.m., the West End Cultural Center will come alive with the irresistible sounds of Vox Populi, the Winnipeg band that blends 70s and 80s inspired synths and grooves with unforgettable melodies that are guaranteed to get you moving. Think Stevie Wonder, Chaka Kahn, and 1970s and 80s Quincy Jones at his peak, but reimagined for today. Vox Populi doesn't rely on autotune or machines. They channel the golden age of dance and soul music through real musicianship, creating fresh, original songs that resonate with both new listeners and longtime fans. The occasion? The band's first ever CD release party, Invasive Species, recorded with some of Winnipeg's top session players, showcases songwriter and pianist Carter Graham's vision brought to life by an all-star lineup that is Vox Populi. And today, joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about Vox Populi and their big night this Saturday is none other than bandleader Carter Graham. Hey, Carter, great to have you back here in studio.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. So this is a project I can totally relate to. I was born in 74, and I grew up here in Stevie Wonder, Grover Washington Jr. on the radio, Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, and later Thriller, the great work they did with Q. There's this great transition that happened from disco to like just straight up funk and soul. You're a lot younger than me. Yeah. How did you get into this kind of music?
Well, we were just talking a second ago before we got on the air, but definitely exposure to Parliament Funkadelic at 14 was a huge impact on me. Huge moment in my life musically. It's something I'll never forget because I just never had heard music like that before. And I, for some reason, have always been very drawn to bass. I'm not sure why. I've just, like, once I discovered that bass existed, like bass guitar, I thought it was, like, the coolest thing ever. And so then I've always really hyper-focused on that. And if you want to hear the best bass playing of all time, just go check out Parliament and Funkadelic. Like, those are the best bass grooves I've ever crafted, in my opinion. And there's obviously plenty of other great bass players out there, but that for me was a pivotal moment in my musical journey. So,
yeah. And so what made you want to put together the band Vox Populi?
Well, I wanted a vehicle. From a very young age, when I was, like most kids, you're forced to play music, play an instrument, go into music lessons at first. And I would admit at first I probably didn't enjoy it that much, and I was forced to practice and all that stuff. But the minute I was at the piano and I can't remember how old I was, but I wasn't that old. I was probably maybe about 8 or 9. The minute I discovered that I could maybe potentially write my own music was the most exciting thing ever to me. So I thought, okay, now I'm getting older, I've studied music, I play it, but I wanted to have a vehicle where I could like craft and write good, pop or soul or whatever you want to call it, music of mine. And that's why I started the band. I wanted a vehicle, and I also wanted it to be a vehicle for all of these great musicians that are my friends and that I work with all the time. I invited them to, if they wanted to, bring their music to us so that we could learn each other's music. That was also my goal with this band. So, yeah.
Amazing. And the band really does consist of an all-star lineup of some of Winnipeg's best musicians. Who's in the band? And can you talk about them a bit?
Yeah, for sure. So, because, like I said, they're all great musicians. Some of them are busy, but so on the album, it's myself, Sheena Ratai on vocals, Julian Bradford on bass, Kevin Waters on drums, and Emmanuel Bach on guitar. And for the album release show, we're going to have Carl Kohut on bass. Fantastic bass player, so it's going to be great. Yeah,
bass teacher at the University of Manitoba.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, the professor.
Yeah. With a band like this, one of the things that really drives it, I think, is just a drummer, a guy who really knows how to lay it down and sort of drive the band. Can you talk about your longtime friendship with drummer Kevin Waters?
Sure. I met Kevin when I was in school at University of Manitoba, and I guess by nature of being in the same year together, we spent a lot of time together in a lot of classes, played a lot together, and then we were gigging a lot together. And Kevin is one of the greatest musicians that I've ever heard. And I don't mean that I've ever just played with, but that I've ever heard. And so he brings this special flavor to the band, and the band wouldn't sound the way it does without him. But he is definitely one of the greatest living drummers, in my opinion. And I know that's a big statement to make, but he is definitely up there as far as living drummers go. And everyone, if you have never heard him before, should make a point to try to hear him play somewhere. He also plays in Super Duty Tough Work, I believe, and a bunch of other projects around town. So like you can hear him live at different festivals and things. So yeah. And he's just a wonderful guy, and I love hanging out with him. Anytime he knows the most about music. Also, I think he knows the most music out of everybody I know. I think he's a walking encyclopedia of music knowledge. So he's always listening to music. Yeah,
great. You're the main songwriter for the group. What are the songs about? I mean, when I think of a name like Vox Populi, it suggests that you're trying to communicate an outlook of the world. What do you write about?
Sure. Well, I'll freely admit that. Part of it was coming up with a band name for a pop soul. Like again, I've always sort of struggled with like how to sort of pigeonhole my band, and maybe I don't want to, but part of it was just the difficulty of coming up with a name. And so, but I like the name because I do think that this style of music inherently has a sort of social commentary flavor built into it anyways. I think most music does anyways, but I thought it suited the purpose, and for me it's been kind of fun because it's a name that gets butchered a lot. And so it's been kind of fun to hear how everyone's various take on how to say it. I just say Vox Populi, but I've heard it said many different ways. But yeah, that's where it came from, and I stuck with it. I had actually tried to change it many times, but in the end I just stayed with it. I was like, I can't think of anything else to call it at this point. So, yeah, and I think when I write, I write a lot about like, your common themes like love. Obviously, on this song I played today, it was sort of a love song, but I do try to write things I observe in the world and, that I see happening, and like any artist, I guess. So, yeah, so that's where it came about.
I'm curious, like, how do the words and the music come together? Like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
That's a great question, because I ask everyone else I know that writes that question. For me, it's often, because of the instrument I play, it comes from the piano first. Usually, like, I'll be there. Sometimes it's a harmonic thing that happens first, and then I'm like, okay, this is a great harmonic thing. I know this could be either a part of a song or the beginning of a song. Okay, now I have to build. Now that's where the work begins. You get that little, like, the lightning in the bottle is usually a small piece of something, and then you have to, like, just, slog it out and figure out what you're going to do with it. But sometimes, yeah, I've had words come first, or the song title has come first sometimes. I have a song on the album called Running in the Wrong Direction. That was me just saying that I was like, this goofy phrase sounds like it could be a song title, and then I wrote a song around that. And the other thing I do is songs I really love, I'll sort of take the element of what it is that I like about it. So that same song, the verses were sort of born out of trying to capture the essence of this Prince song called I Want to Be Your Lover. Yeah, I Want to Be Your Lover. And it has these slash chords, and I was like, and they're rhythmic. And I'm like, that's really fun to play. And then, like, the Kool and the Gang song, Celebration, has these slash chords that move like that. And I'm like, and on piano, it feels really good to play those things. So I was like, okay, I want to write my own song that does that. So that's also how that kind of can come about with writing a song. So, yeah.
The debut album is called Invasive Species. What does the title mean? And I often, when I talk to musicians who are putting out a new record, they describe it as sort of like, it's like having your baby and putting it out in the world. How does it feel to have the new album out?
Yeah, it feels good. It was a long process. We're talking about 10 years of getting to this point, because I started the band about 10 years ago, and I knew I wanted to do this, and I thought it was never going to happen, and I finally sort of just forced myself to make it happen. The title, it's kind of, one's not as interesting, I think, of a point, but one is, we've had a lot of talk in this province about zebra mussels, which is kind of interesting. And I love the lake systems we have here and the beautiful nature we have. And so I was thinking, oh yeah, there's that thing. But then for me, really what it was I feel like a lot of people, and this is not diminishing the attempt to reduce our footprint or anything, but I think sometimes we overlook the fact that maybe we're the invasive species, and that the planet will take care of us if it needs to. And so, and it's not like it's not a threat, it's supposed to be a threat or anything. It's just like my observation that, because it's not only what we do to the planet, it's what we do to ourselves. And so I go, like, we just can't escape this habit of like being harmful to each other. And so I think that's where the title was coming from. Yeah. Yeah.
Aside from all the fantastic music that Vox Populi are going to be performing on Saturday, the band that's opening for you are no slouches either. Can you talk about the Funky Miracles?
Yeah, for sure. So these are musicians who I didn't play with as much or come up with as much, but then I just discovered through being in the music community. And so I first met Roman Clark. He's the drummer in the band. I first met him after a set I had played at the festival, and he came up to me and said, "Oh, I really like your music." And then my friend said, "Do you know who that is?" I said, "No, I've never met this person before." And he said, "Oh, that's Roman Clark. He's really great. You should check him out." So I checked him out, and I went, "Oh my God, this guy's incredible. Like, he can sing, he can play. He plays like, I don't know, 5, 10 instruments. I don't know. He can play everything. Great singer also. It's something I aspire to with my own vocal journey. That's something that's new for me. So, but yeah, and then I've played with John Mark Barron, the bass player, in this Paul Simon project a friend of mine, Aaron Shore, runs. And he's just a really fun guy to hang out with, and he's a great player. And so, and I believe Brett Schultz is going to be on that gig as well on the guitar, and I play in his band, the Brett Schultz band. So it's just going to be a fun night for everyone. It's like we all know each other. It's going to be fun. And they're a fantastic band. Like, it's going to be like, of all the opening bands to ask for, this is like, and I'm so happy they could do it too. That's, yeah.
Fantastic. It's been so great to have you back in the studio, Carter. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking, what do you hope audiences will take away from seeing the show on Saturday?
I hope what they take away is that, what I hope from my end is that I have done my job and made them feel good. I think first and foremost, at the end of the day, the music is there to make them feel, better than when they got there. And I hope they walk away with appreciation of, the musical talent that they have in this city. Sometimes I think Winnipeg suffers from a lack of a certain kind of a scene that maybe other cities have, where it's sort of centralized, localized, where you can like go down to a strip and like go hear everybody. Because if we had that, I mean, we would be like the Canadian, music center, because we have so many amazing musicians that live here, but also not to mention the ones that have left. So this city, for some reason, produces like some of the greatest musicians
like Aaron
in the
Shore,
world.
Who's now living in Calgary.
Yeah. So, and there's a laundry list of people. So I think I hope they come away with they saw high musicianship. I think that's what they're going to see. And I'm speaking more about my bandmates than myself, of course, but they're all going to make it sound good.
Hopefully they'll take away a CD as well, right?
I hope so. I hope they purchase a CD. That would be wonderful. And we also have T-shirts for sale if you're interested, because the nature of music now is T-shirt salesman. But but they came out really well in the album art. My friend Troy Stiles helped design the album, and it looks great. So I'm really happy with the way it came together. Yeah.
Carter, the album sounds like it is going to be just tremendous. The show sounds like it's going to be fantastic and so much fun at the West End. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Appreciate it. Thank you.
For our Classic 107 listeners, Vox Populi CD release party of their disc Invasive Species takes place this Saturday night at 8 p.m. at the West End Cultural Centre. For more details, go to wecc.ca or go to classic107.com. I've embedded a direct link to the show page about the CD release party in the article that you can find up about the show there.
Wonderful.
Carter, thanks again.
Thank you.